All right, so we're going to do some more factoring a quadratic with leading coefficients greater than 1. In other videos, we've done the AC method. I do want to spend a little bit of time on a little bit with the guess and check method that some people are taught. It's kind of a modification of the guess and check. So we're going to look and see if you don't like this, totally fair, skip forward. You don't have to do it this method, but it's another way to think of factoring. So when we are factoring any trinomials, we know that the sign of that last term is going to tell you whether you're adding or subtracting. The middle term tells you what you have to combine your factors to get. So a lot of times we will write what we are multiplying to, which is the first and the last. So I need to multiply 6 times 2 is 12. So it's going to be multiples of 12 or factors of 12. Excuse me, not multiples, factors of 12 that are going to combine and get me to a -7. So if I think of my 12 is, and they're going to be the same sign, so I'm going to have to add them. So I have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And if I'm adding them, that 3 and 4 is what's going to add to the -7. So it's a -3 and a -4. All right, so where we think about if we're starting to do something with a guess and check ideas is we have 6x squared minus 7x plus 2. It's thinking of foiling. So we're going to have those two parentheses. And we have the first in each. These have to multiply to be 6x squared. Okay, so we're really going to look at the coefficients. And if we look at the back one, the end ones, these are going to multiply together to get you that +2. All right, so our factors that we can use to get 6 are just 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. And then our factors for 2 are just 1 and 2. And what we also have to keep in mind, so there's a lot of stuff that you keep in mind, it gets easier as you have more practice, is the outer, these two have to, and the inner, okay, combine, so add to equal -7x. So since we have this chart that says we need a 3x, a -3, and a -4, that is telling me that this is either -3 or 4, and this is -4. You can set either one to be it, but that's where we're thinking of aiming with. So if I'm looking at that and thinking of all my factors, I need to get things to multiply between these two sets that'll equal a 3 and a 4. I can't use that factor of 6. So I'm going to randomly put these things in here. Okay, so the first term, if I put my 2x here and my 3x here, I need one of them to be 4. And actually, I actually picked the right one. 2 times 2 equals 4. And it's a -2. And 3 times -1 equals that -3 that I have here where it's working. And if I look at it, I have my factors of the 2 and the 3, which is the big one. And then my -1 and -2, they all work. If I test it with foiling it out, I would have 6x squared minus 4x minus 3x plus 2, which does give me the original problem that I started with. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at it, keeping all of your number facts straight and how you're going to factor stuff if you don't like to rewrite it. But that's kind of where we're thinking about all of those extra numbers. So if we put my current answers in here, I have 2x minus 1 and 3x minus 2. And remember, the parentheses can go in either order as long as we have the right sign. So I could have put my 3x minus 2 first. We're going to check that work. And we are good for that one. So we're going to try another one. Probably, well, I got to look at the numbers. Yet All right, so what we're going to do with this problem is we're going to do a little bit more practice with that guess and check method. The other video that I have on factoring quadratics with leading coefficients greater than 1, I do more of the AC method where we're doing grouping afterwards. But I do want to spend a little bit more time with this. So yet again, we're still looking at this. The sign of the last term tells me subtract, meaning that I'm going to have one with a plus, one with a minus. So it's going to need plus and a minus in the back of my parentheses. This is my goal. This is the factors add to or subtract to, combine to. Okay. So I know 3 times 24 is the same thing as 3 times 20 plus 4, which is 60 plus 12. Yep, which is 72. So I'm going to need factors of negative 72 that combined to 34. So writing my factors of 72, remembering that I'm going to subtract when I'm done, once I get the list. So I have 1 in 72, 2 in 36. 3 does go into that because 3, the 7 plus 2 equals 9. So I know 3 goes in there. 3 and 24, which I also had in my work over there. 4 goes in. 4 times 18. 5 does not go in there. 6 does because 3 did and it was an even. So 6 times 12. 7 doesn't. 8 and 9 are my last two. 8 and 9. Keep in mind, I'm going to be subtracting to get a 34. So I'm going to be using these. I need it to be a positive 34, which means I need 36 minus 2. All right, so thinking of my parentheses. All right, so I've got this. I know this times this has to multiply to 3x squared. And my only choices are 1 and 3. Then I know that this, the last two, have to multiply to negative 24. Okay, so my factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. I'm not going to worry about signs yet to start with. Then I know with these, let's do this color. Actually, that's a bad color. I'll do this color. I know the, oh, wrong one. Didn't go right. The outer, so this times this is either going to be my 36 or my negative 2. I'm going to choose it to be my 36, which means my inner is going to have to be my negative 2. And I'm thinking about this. We'll deal with that. Okay. Usually I like the inner to be the positive, but it really doesn't matter. All right. So looking at the numbers that I have to work with, 1 and 3, I'm getting 36 and negative 2. There is no way that I can have my 3 be in that inner one. So that has to be, we'll put it in, yeah, we'll go back to this color. So my 3 would have to be here, my 3x, and my 1x will have to go here. And I could just call it an x if I want. Now, looking at what I have with this, thinking about this, I have a 1 and I need to get a 2. So this has to be my negative 2 has to go here. So that gets that. Factors with my negative 2, when I'm getting to the 24, that I've got a negative 2 and a positive 12 is going to go here. So plus 12, verifying that that's the 36. 6 and 12 is the 36. We can check by foiling. It should work. Actually, it will work, but we'll double check. 3x squared plus 36x minus 2x minus 24. And this will get me my 34. And I have what I started with for the problem. So we'll type this in, and then we'll get one more, and we'll try it also this way. So I will put notes in my the video so that we know what type we're doing. Minus 2. 1 plus. And like I said, if you don't like this way, there is other ways to factor, and I do have other videos of factoring trinomials using other methods. This is kind of a way that as you get more and more confident with your numbers is usually a little faster, but it's also very confusing if you don't if you don't know where the numbers are coming from. So we'll check. Correct variables. Oh, they want a y. Now, I will forewarn you that as you move through with Alex, they do eventually stop giving you that warning, and they just count it wrong, and then you have to like ponder what you did wrong. So make sure you're using the right variables. Okay, and it's saying, yet again, I'll erase my thing so you can see the comment. You don't need to write 1 as a coefficient. It shouldn't ever count you wrong, but just keep in mind you don't have to include the 1, but you should be always allowed to. All right, last problem that we have to do. It's not terrible. So this time we are, when we're multiplying, we have to, this is same sign, so we're going to add. When we multiply, remember it's A times C, so 10 times 2, which is 20. And then they have to combine to that middle term, which is 21. And my factors of 20 are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. I know if I'm adding them, I'm going to be using these. So 1 and 20. Everything's all positive. So we can start our parentheses. All right, parentheses. Remember this and this have to multiply to that very first term, so that will be 10y squared. And your choices for 10 are 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. Then if I add more color, these two have to multiply to get you the last term, which is that 2, and your only choices are 1 and 2. Where you're thinking a little bit more is your outers. This has to multiply to get you one of those numbers there. You can either have it be the 1 or the 20. I'll make it the 20, which means the inner ones by default have to be the other number, which is the 1. And you can have your x's there if you want. Actually, it's a y. All right, so looking at the numbers that I have to put in here, I have to get a 10. I am going to, yet again, using a 20 and a y. The only way that I'm going to get that with the 1y is if I have a 1 and a 1. So that is going to tell me that I need the 1 here and a 1 here. And then I can finish filling out. So this is going to be 1y because it always gets the y. All right, and then I can finish for my green one, this 1 times 10y. And then I can finish, the blue is 1 and 2. And everything was a plus, and a plus. Verify that the outer is going to be a 20y. 10y and 2 is 20y. 1 and 1. Yep. So making my parentheses, I have 10y plus 1 and y plus 2. Okay. And like I said, there's the other ways to do this, totally valid. I just wanted to show you another way to do it in case that's closer to what you've been shown in the past, or it's the other way isn't working for you.